Hey y'all, thanks for clicking on my video just to listen to me because the show can't see me. I know that. And as soon as I figure out how to make this more formal, because right now I just have my phone like down on the table. But when I figure out how to make it more formal, I will. But for now, I just need to stick to recording as I can. Okay, today is December 17th. It's a Wednesday. Let's see, 17. That's a 3, that's an 8, 8, 9, 10, 11, 2. And I believe my personal number today is a 6. Yeah. Numerology says my personal number today is a 6. I don't really know what that means, I'm gonna be honest, but I got my pen, I got my paper, I'm writing. Okay, I have something on my mind that I do want to talk about. I just came from the gym. I feel very proud of myself because I got up earlier than typical to go to the gym earlier than usual so that I could get to work earlier than usual because I have so much to do that I need to tackle before other people are in my way at work. A word just came to me. I might talk about it. Empowerment. But there is something else that was on my mind before that. But I'm kind of now being pulled to talk about empowerment. Okay. Yeah, I was going to go a different direction, but this is how it usually goes. I sit down and I start talking, and then what really wants to come out, like, starts to really, like, nag at me. So we're going to talk about empowerment. We're going to talk about empowerment, and I'm being led to break down the word. So, and I've done this before, I think, with empowerment. So M, obviously we have power. We got the word men, T. Also, I'm seeing the root of the word empath in there. Empathy. Okay. I just heard the word impossible as well, though. I've never really thought of that, like how the impossible starts with IMP, but it also does sound the same. EMP, right? Impossible, empowerment, empathy, empath. Interesting. That is very interesting. Okay. And then the concept of power. So that did cross my mind earlier while I was driving back home. Like maybe I want to talk about power because I've been learning a lot about that, about the concept of power and how to just, well, there's another one, embrace it. Well, it's not EMP, but it's still EM. But how to like embrace power. And that's definitely real for me. That's been happening lately. Like opportunities for me to, and I mean very vivid, clear, not even subtle opportunities at all. Very clear, vivid opportunities for me to really take ownership of the power that I have and to like allow the opportunities to grow my power. Because mostly that's been happening at work. And I feel like it's because I'm kind of being like prepared for next year. Next year, 2026, which is coming very soon. And but for me, it's a special year because I was born in 1990. And so with the all of the different tools that I like to reference for just the purpose of learning how to live as best as I can, I've learned through Chinese astrology, or Western astrology, I say, numerology, all these different things put together. Next year is a very important year for me because it's going to be the first year since I was born that is going to be numerology. numerologically, I hate saying that. In terms of numerology, 1990 and 2026 are both 1 years. So, but then also, so then that means it's a personal, they're both personal year fives for me. I'm a life path 5, and next year will be my personal year 5. So, but not just that, the next level to it is Chinese astrology says that it's also the year of the horse. So this is going to be the first time that all three of these elements align as they did again, they align again as they did when I was born. So I just feel like that's very important. It's also going to be the fire horse. So that also makes me think of in the Bible when Jesus says that, you must be reborn, but also there's the eventually the lesson of being reborn or baptized by fire. Baptism being a symbol of rebirth, but by fire. So I think that that's very important for me to take heed to. And it has me kind of excited, very excited actually, and curious. And so I just feel like a lot of things have been going on, not just recently, but I think I'm just starting to really pay attention to like the things of the most recent times. But I also see now how they relate to pretty much all year long and even before then, but it's just amping up as time passes, right? That is to highlight to me the power that I do have within and how I am supposed to cultivate that. I just thought of how in the Bible, when it speaks of talent, and when you're giving your talent and you're supposed to basically invest them and grow them, just like seeds, like you're giving some seeds, you're supposed to plant them in order for them to grow, not just put them in a jar and put them on your shelf or not eat them, not just give them away in exchange for what? Like nothing, So, like, it's almost like the concept of power or the gift of power, the talent of power is like within me. And I am to be um, allowing that to grow and cultivate. And so I've been experiencing things that has been making me do that because it's either I do that, like I tap into that power, which um, also ignites me using my intelligence or my executive brain functions. It's either for me to do that or to tap out and like run away. And it's like, well, I'm not doing that because where am I hide? Like why would I do that? I'm gonna pause for a moment. Okay, I just unpaused. So, but yeah, it's like, where am I gonna hide if I just choose to wither away or to run away from the opportunity to, and that word's been coming up multiple times this morning as well, opportunity. So I gotta write that down. But yeah, like, what am I gonna do? And, so it's kind of like rising to the occasion. I'm writing that down. So there's been a lot happening lately, even though, again, it's been happening, I would say, all my years. But definitely, I think what's happening more so recently is just my understanding of what's going on. Cause y'all, I've been ready to knock somebody out. Like yesterday at work, there were so many glitches occurring, and I just getting so frustrated. It really has been like the past 2 weeks. These weird ass glitches that usually make me think of Mercury being in retrograde, but Mercury is no longer in retrograde. So I'm like, hey, Mercury retrograde over. But it's these things that really are making me feel like this is Mercury retrograde shit. But you know what's interesting is this last Mercury retrograde that passed, which I don't even know. Are we in the shadow period? I'm gonna check. We might still be in the shadow period until like the 20 something. you know what? That sounds more correct. Which I have heard that like some people can be uh more sensitive to the Mercury retrograde shadow period than others, I guess. Um, and so I'm looking it up on my other phone, but I wanted to also say that what was different of this last one um, was when it came, or like when I learned that it was coming up. I was yeah, see, it's still going. Okay, I'm gonna pause on what I was just saying, but it says kick the final big one, November 9th, 29th, kicking off its pre-shadow on October 21st, finishing its post-shadow around December 16th through the 26th. Well, that's a hell of a long time. Okay, so it still could be Mercury retrograde stuff. Um, Post-shadow ends December 16th or 26th. I'm gonna go with the 26th because yesterday was the 16th and it was pretty powerful, y'all. Like the shit that was going on. I'm glad I remembered the shadow period stuff because I'm like, Mercury retrograde is over. What is this? It's just like all the shit that's been going on that I'm like, this is Mercury retrograde shit. And are we not done? Um, But see, look, it says the shadow phases aren't official retrogrades, but amplify the themes of miscommunication, delays, and tech issues. Yes, acting as a cosmic warm up and cool down, where you might notice patterns repeat, our final clarity emerges after the main retrograde ends, with the pre shadow bringing feelings of deja vu and the post shadow offering final resolutions. Yes, 100 freaking percent. So, is it called retro shade? Retro shade period is not. Okay, I don't know. That's the first time I heard that term. But anyways, yeah. So it's just like all this stuff that was going on, and it's like so much stuff that I've had to be putting into order. Like my work depends on the technology, that I work with. So, and money wise, I am so grateful. My car has, it's going very. It's we are good. My car is good, right? But Mercury retrograde, that's what it affects those things like energy in motion. So communication and travel and technology, like communication and when you're just trying to make things happen. And so that's what's been going on with me. And so I'm glad I looked that up because we are still in even if it was to end the 16th yesterday, still very clear. But I'm going to just keep in mind the 26th. It's better to be safe than sorry, right? So, and I was actually thinking, like, when I was saying, when is the retrograde, when is the shadow period over? Before I started looking it up, in my mind, was saying Christmas. So it was like an intuitive download. And the 26th is right after Christmas. So we just going to go with basically the end of the year, okay? Um, so okay, and so the thing that for me that was different with this last Mercury retrograde before it began, or when it was beginning, I had it in mind for the first time that I was going to master Mercury retrograde because I will be the first to tell you that I have failed miserably multiple times with Mercury retrograde. It's like a fucking test when it comes to the areas of relationship, love, connection, partnership, all that shit. I have struggled throughout the years to hold my ground and stand my ground, or to really, I would feel like pass my lessons, learn my lessons, and pass my tests when Mercury retrograde would come back around to basically see like what's up. And so I know the last one in the summertime, I failed it. There was somebody I had cut off, somebody I feel a whole lot for, and during Mercury retrograde, he came back around. We reconnected, and I was like, you know what? Maybe it's offering me a gift this time. I'm thinking Mercury retrograde bringing me a gift. No, Mercury retrograde brings you tests. So during that Mercury retrograde, I unblocked this person. We reconnected. We were sexual. I'm grown. Look, I'm gonna talk about it, and I'm gonna pause one moment. Though, one pause. Okay, so yeah, I'm unpausing. Uh, but yeah, I talked to myself. I gaslit myself a little bit, low key, high key, really, into thinking like, oh, maybe this could be a gift. Like this person, I really missed them, even though we weren't actually good on an energetic level. Like there were so many things that needed to be addressed. I thought we were gonna address them. I thought this was an opportunity to address them, only to realize like this person is still moving too shallow, too superficial. Um, just wanting my energy, wanting to know that they're welcome into my space and all this shit, And I'm a very intelligent person, so it really cuts me deeply when I get played, right? Because if I get played, it's only because I chose to prioritize someone else over myself. I chose to be gracious. I chose to be merciful. I chose to be patient. I chose to talk less, listen more. I chose to believe and all that bullshit, right? It starts with a choice of my own. I chose to let my emotions take over and just, get lost in it. I chose to let go. I chose to let go. And so anytime I choose to let go and I realize I should have not done that shit because I wasn't caught, right? Um, it cuts me deeply. And what just came to mind when I said that is like that ends up being really ultimately, even if the person betrayed me, it ultimately ends up being like a self-betrayal or a self-betrayal for me, right? Because I chose to let go. So it's like you betrayed yourself in letting go. I betrayed myself in letting go and falling into that bullshit, right? So that happened basically that last Mercury retrograde this past summer. And so when I learned that it was coming through again, I was like, okay, I'm going to master it. I want to master Mercury retrograde. And I think that's my Virgo rising. Virgo, all about perfectionism. Shout out to Beyonce, Michael Jackson, right? Um, Virgo is all about perfection, analyzing, all the details. And I'm a Virgo rising, 29 degrees Virgo rising. And so I do have that in me real strong. And um and so yeah, I was like, I gotta master it. And so opportunity did come. So this time, and I guess this is going to loop back into my concept of power and empowerment, also empathy and all this stuff. So, and rising to the occasion, opportunity, you know, um, hmm. Oh, it just came to mind. Wow. Empowerment, I haven't broken this down yet, but empowerment conquers the impossible. Like, impossible ain't even a real word. Impossible, right? But anyways, so then Mercury retrograde comes back around, right, for this last round in November, October. Uh, yeah. And so I had not blocked that person who came back around in the summertime, right? Who I when I failed that Mercury retrograde lesson, I hadn't blocked them again, because there's something I've learned from the past dealing with someone else um, about me blocking people, is that sometimes I can do so prematurely. I don't got nothing against blocking. I don't, because there's not a lot that uh, like it's a protective measure for me. That's how I see it. It's protective. Um, Blocking on the phone, blocking energetically, blocking you from coming to my house. It's like I'm locking the door. You can't come in. It's like I'm putting a lock on my phone. I don't see nothing wrong with that. If you feel like you need to protect yourself, energy travels through everything, anything and everything. So I didn't block them, because what I learned in the past was that sometimes I can do that prematurely, so that there's still something that needs to like flow through. And I've learned instead to like sometimes just let the energy thing like run dry. Just maybe stop initiating conversations. Maybe stop answering the phone calls. Maybe they're not unblocked. Maybe they're unblocked, but you don't gotta communicate with them. So it's kind of like practice more self-control. Because also other times I used to block to keep myself from reaching out to. That was when I was dealing with somebody it was a very volatile love situation. Love and hate situation, actually. Love, hate. So, yeah, this time I was like, you know what? I'm not going to block him again. I'm going to just leave him on block. And I'm going to see what happens. Because obviously I keep blocking and unblocking, blocking and unblocking. And there's a reason for this. So perhaps there's something there that needs to be addressed. Now, am I about to take the lead to try and do that with somebody who seems like they're not able and willing? No. But I'm going to leave the opportunity. The opportunity's there. I'm not going to get in the way of it. Obviously, it's not going to go away. Right? So I didn't do that. So when the last Mercury retrograde came around, November, October, we were already still connected, but we weren't like dating, But here he comes with some intensity. So that's what happens. The intensity kicks up, and here he comes trying to be sexual and stuff. And my resolve is I'm not doing that, right? So, well, there's power, right? Utilizing my power to say no, utilizing my power, my protection to maintain my grounding, my ground, to stand my ground, yeah. And so, yeah, he was trying to come through and make something happen on that level. And for me, it's like, no. Like, nigga, you don't even really check up on me like that. You don't even take me out. You've been saying you're going to do this and do that, and we're going to do this, you're going to give me this, or whatever, and I ain't got nothing. I mean, this is minor shit. It's minor stuff. Yeah, I don't like people who just say stuff just to say something. You know what I mean? Like, that's so childish. Like, you're just talking? Are you serious? Like, you really gonna let something come out your mouth and you don't even have no plans in place at all to actually make it happen? You're not trying to make no plans to make it happen? Like, you know what I mean? And there was some things that he had been doing. Oh, I'm gonna swoop you up and take you here with me, da da da. But then it's like, well, with the lack of planning, it wasn't able to happen because, nigga, I'm at work, and now I gotta rush home, da da da. And now, we're out of time because you know what I mean. So shit like that was happening. But even smaller stuff like, oh, I owe you a smoothie. I owe you one of your favorite healthy smoothies or whatever. And I said like, well, this is my favorite. All you gotta do is go pick up the fucking smoothie, Even when you're trying to come see me, you ain't stopping to pick up the smoothie. You ain't asking me, do I want a smoothie? Like, like, where's your creativity? Like, get to work, So anyways, now when he comes talking about something, he trying to come through, trying to pull up, trying to see me. And by the way, I had started, like, learning how to, like, ignore messages that I wasn't interested in responding to, right? Like, just all kinds of different irrelevant messages. And I learned to ignore, like, okay, I don't have to respond to everything. Cool. So then, Yeah, so now we're in the Mercury retrograde again, and now it's amped up a little bit. There's some in-person communication that then leads to the phone communication, and it's about to be that one of them moments again, right? Like, what you gonna do tonight? What you gonna do? So I refuse. Like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, we can talk, but I don't want to do none of that you trying to come over here to do. Cause the fuck I look like to you, nigga? I'm not a hoe. You know what I mean? You just come through when you want something. It's been some months, and when you talking about, and it's been a minute. I need some of that. Like, what? Do you hear yourself? Like, what? Who are you talking to? So, but I'm being gracious, right? So I said, no, I want to talk. Like, you want to see me, then you're going to see me, and we're going to talk. I don't want to do nothing else. So cool. He said, okay, cool, we're going to talk. Okay, we're going to talk. Cool. So now we in each other's presence. He picks me up. We're going to talk. And we're talking. And it's all right. Some butterflies and shit, though, because I really like this person. Obviously, I don't like everything about him, but in the simplest way to put it, I like him, right? So, but yeah, eventually we get to talking and we get into an argument, and that's because I decided to be honest, because it was something that came up that was talking about. Well, first of all, it sounded like he was trying to give me an offer of a more clear situationship. It was weird. It was some shit like, he mentioned something about not feeling like we don't need no title, something about the title. He mentioned something about, well, I don't want to, say something, and then a couple of months later, we don't work out, like, so it's like he's holding back, but you trying to be with me. It's weird. Like, I want to straddle the fence. That's what I want to do. No, I don't rest on fences. That's not safe, right? So anyway, but at some point I get to saying, like, I've been through a lot, and I live and move in a way where I'm careful with who I connect myself with, because I've realized through experience, you connect yourself to the wrong person, they can really fuck your life up for real. And I said, and I don't depend on nobody else. So that is, because he had said something like, he said I treat it like work, which, again, unclear. I hate the lack of clarity, by the way. So he said, it's talking about our connection. I treat it like work. Like, first of all, we mostly interact at work. We don't even really see each other outside of work. So that's stupid. Second of all, treat what? Like, we're not in a relationship. So what do you want me to treat? What do you want? Right? So, and of course, something in my mind goes, you already know what you want, right? But then, so that led me to say, like, oh, I'm very, cautious. I have to be cautious and aware, because I depend on myself. I don't depend on nobody else. I take care of myself. So that's my life. So if I connect myself to the wrong person, they could fuck my life up. It's already happened before. I've been there, done that. So I learned, and now I move different. And so then he started to say something like, I'm basically trying to say I couldn't be that person. I would be, making sure you straight, making sure you self-righteous shit. So that led me to bring up something from the past, because we hadn't even ever talked about it, but it was definitely an injustice towards me, and we never had talked about it, because this is somebody who actually doesn't usually let me talk the way I need to be able to talk, to express myself. I don't like that either, right? Especially when I'm a good listener. So I started to bring up that thing from the past, and I told him I was hesitant to bring it up because we had already had arguments before, and he had already made it clear that he don't like stuff coming up from the past and all that bullshit. I don't give a fuck. If you want to talk to me and it's something that I feel like we need to talk about and it has not been resolved, I'm going to talk about it. Now, if you don't want to talk to me, you don't got to listen to it, and we can stop talking. And we don't have to talk ever again. That's how I feel. But you don't want it to be in my presence. You hit me up. This is what I want. You can stay. listen to it, have the conversation, or you can leave. And so, long story short, eventually I had to cut it short because he did not want to be honest in the situation, gaslighting and all that stuff. So, turned to a big argument. I'm out of my body yelling, like we both yelling. And I said, just take me home. Because we went to like park by a river to talk, whatever, like nice little pretty scenery, and just fucked it all up. Take me home, And yeah. So after that, I blocked him. Well, even in the car, I said, I'm blocking you. Like, don't leave me alone. Don't deal with me. Talk to me. Don't leave me alone. And he on some whoop-de-doo shit. And even during the conversation, called me delusional, said I like to argue, which is not true. Now, I might have been delusional about you, but I don't like to argue. That's why I'm removing myself. And that's why I said take me home. And that's why I'm blocking you. Because this is the third big argument we've had this year. And I don't like to argue, so I won't remain connected to you. Now, if I was somebody that liked to argue, we'd still be connected, So, anyways, that is what Mercury retrograde brought for me this time around. So, no sexual, nothing, nothing like that. Just, I think, final resolutions, right? Even though it's still kind of hard because this is somebody I actually am attracted to, like through my body and energy. But, when you break it down, and it's so crazy, y'all, because it's almost like this. I had a dream car, a car that was my dream car. It was a Jeep Wrangler. Every time I look at it, every time I see it, I love it. I like it. I like the way it looks. I'm like, ooh, like, oh, yeah, I really like that car, man. I really wanted that car. Then, though, like, recently, I was looking at the details of, like, the mileage and stuff, and I got a Honda. I have a Honda Coupe. So I'm like, and my Honda is great to me. Oh my goodness, I love my Honda. I do. I mean, if anything, I just want a new one now. But the Jeep, I'm looking at the mileage and stuff, and I'm like, ew, disgusting. Why would I go from a Honda to a Jeep? Like, no. I no longer desire it. It is no longer my dream car. It just looks really nice and it catches my attention. It's like a work of art to me. And so it's almost like this person is kind of like that. You remind me of my Jeep type shit. But no, for real. Like, it's like I'm so attracted to you. You're attractive to me. Like, in multiple different ways. But man, when we get into the details, it's like I'm disgusted, disappointed, And so with this Mercury retrograde, yeah, it brought that situation back around because he initiated with me in that way. And I feel like this time around, I did what I was supposed to do, And regarding that opportunity, to reference the concept of power that I brought up, like it was totally me stepping into my power, totally me cultivating my power in that moment. And, it's something that I wasn't looking forward to having to do with this person who I would rather enjoy. I would rather have fun with, laugh with, grow with, learn, And he even said at one point during the argument, like, oh, that, something about seeing the real me or something like that. Like, nigga, ain't nobody walking around one-dimensional. If you think that, like, that's why you live the way that you do. That's why you've gotten yourself into the things that you've gotten yourself into. That's why you're connected to the people you're connected to. Because you think shit is one-dimensional or some shit. And it's like, nigga, I used to tell people, I'm like a prism. I think a prism got 8 sides, 6 to 8 sides or something like that. Like no. But we all have layers to us. So if you ever think that you know somebody fully, and we don't even date, we don't live together, we don't talk to each other, not even every week do we talk to each other. Like, you don't know me, and I don't know you. You know of me, you know some things about me, but you don't know me. But it is just very interesting, I think, the Mercury retrograde thing. Like, I promise I was determined. Like, I am not going to fail. And I knew that it would be this opportunity. But also, you know what? My old friend from back home also popped back up as well. just like he did at the beginning of this year with the same storyline, as well. I'm in town, last minute shit, come see me, I'm at the hotel type shit. The last time I did that, he just wanted sex. He didn't have to say shit. It was written all over everything that he did. I walk into the room, I ain't seen this person in 3 years. I grew up with this dude. I knew him in elementary school, kindergarten. Like, we literally grew up together. And I walk into the room, and he turns off the lights. Like, turns off the lights. He jumps in. It's 2 beds, luckily. He jumps in one of the beds, pulls the cover back, and, like, motions for me to get to the bed. I did not get to the bed. No. I was really disappointed as well in that situation and in that person. Like, this what you want? Like, I ain't seen you in 3 years, and you come out here, and it ain't like this is about to turn into no long trip or anything like that, or an eventful situation, because you about to leave, and I gotta go to work. Like, that was very disappointing. So, yeah, literally did the same thing this time, but I didn't go see him this time. Last time, I even missed work, but I literally, like, even though I literally stayed in the other bed, and it was even something where, like, the heat was turned up in the room. I had a sweater on, and he was trying to tell me to take my sweater off, and I'm like, God, fuck, it's hot in here. Like, take your sweater off. I'm like, no. Turn the light off, jumped in the bed, pulled the cover back, give me to take my sweater off. No. I was so annoyed, bro. Like, so yeah, he came into town again this time, hit me up last minute shit. I'm in town. Like, I'm in town. Not I'm coming to town. I'm in town at the hotel. In town till this time tomorrow. And nigga, do you think you're a celebrity or some shit? Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm only in town for the night type shit. Like, okay, enjoy yourself. Like, I was so irritated. Like, so Mercury retrograde don't be playing, bro. Like, I've been seeing stuff so clearly, so vividly. And even beyond that, like, just other stuff with work, like, people bothering me. Situations arise that need troubleshooting and resolving, like where I have to get creative to find another way to solve a problem. It's like tapping into that power. I've been having to do that a lot. So, like, with people, with work, just with my skill set, just, make it happen, and not run away or melt, or give in, and just, weaken myself, or punk out, because I ain't no punk, right? It's so yeah, I've just had to really, like, I've been forced to just tap into my power, and I don't know, I guess that's where the concept of empowerment comes from, and I mean in every sense of the word. And oh, there it is, Emperor. And so I feel like that's just been, moments for me to really just become the emperor of my life. Even though there is also the word empress, which is the feminine version, right? But see, like, an emperor is all kings, right? The 4 kings, all the elements, water, air, earth, fire. And I just think about, like, the concept of a kingdom. They don't call it a queendom, they call it a kingdom, And I just feel like I've been being taught this year, and for a while, but especially this year, that, like, I don't have to go find a king to be a queen to, or an emperor to be an empress to. I can be it all in one. I'm going to be an empress because I'm a woman, and I'm divine, and I seek enlightenment, and I achieve enlightenment, and I ascend, and I grow, and I learn, and I nurture. But also the gift that I have because of that in my nature, I can also be nurtured into the emperor. And that's what's been happening this year. Like, developing my King of Swords energy has been probably, it's been pretty tough. I won't say one of the hardest challenges. I would say probably more so it's been harder to become the King of Wands. Not really King of Wands, because I've always been about making stuff happen. King of Cups, nah, that's not been hard. What's the other ones? King of Pentacles. Now that, I mean, yeah. But I also been always been about like having my own stability and just having my own. So yeah, I think the King of Swords has probably been the hardest. Even though I've always been about communication, I think the thing is I've most of my life have been largely um, triggered to communicate emotionally, you know. But when I was in high school and stuff, like I was really good at debate and all that, like really good. But I think growing and then going through things like became, of course, more emotional. Um, and so becoming the King of Swords has been, which is so funny because yesterday I literally was driving to work and I saw in the back of a truck, it said Air King. And so I thought King of Air, which is King of Swords, which is apparently actually Aquarius energy. And I am sun sign Aquarius. And so it's just that has been, and it's not just about communication, but it's also about making decisions, you know, that executive functioning of using your executive functions of your brain, making decisions, being decisive, not confused, taking the lead, and being clear with it as well. That has been, I've definitely been getting shaped and molded to become the King of Swords and to grow in that energy for myself, and for my benefit. And I love it. I love it here. I really do. I might not be partnered up with nobody. I might not be in a healthy, relationship with anybody, but I am in one with myself. And I think that is so important because I look around and I'm in a housing space that I like so much more than any other that I've been in. My neighborhood is safe, safer than anywhere else I've lived in. I've lived at, I'm on top of my stuff. Like, I pay my bills. It makes me feel so good to take care of mine, and take care of me. And in every way and shape of, the word, caretaking, like on the emotional front, financial, spiritual, physical, mental, and all the challenges that I've had they've just been opportunities. Literally, like I said, I wrote that down, like opportunities for me to rise to the occasion and really not just claim my power, but cultivate it and then apply it and to not be afraid to show it. I love that. That really just flows so effortlessly out of me. I'm going to leave that there so that I can eat and start getting ready for work. Thank you for listening, and until next time. Bye.